Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, as today we got another episode of reviewing NHL teams off-season so far. As today we got the New York Islanders ahead of us, as we're going to be talking about their pretty boring off-season to say the least, as they made basically zero moves and really made like one trade. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about here with the Islanders, so there's really not going to be a very pleasant grade, to be quite honest with you guys. They did sign some decent contracts, but I'm a little skeptical on if they really improved the team or not. So before we get into this, I'd like to just say, if you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. It'll be very much appreciated. So let's get into talking about here with the New York Islanders. Now, there's probably not going to be a lot to talk about, quite honestly. This is going to be probably one of our quicker offseason reviews, just because of the fact that the Islanders really didn't make a whole lot of moves. They picked up Romanov, signed Dobson, they got Kyle Clutterbuck back, and that's all they really did. They didn't do a whole lot of other moves to really massively improve this team into this upcoming season. So I'm quite worried about the Devils this year, because I just, they weren't that great last year. And now they have basically the same team again, and nothing really changed. Like, I'm a little skeptical, talking about this team. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about what Lou did. And, the very first thing that we're going to be talking about is the draft. So this team traded away one of their first-round draft picks, which I guess we'll talk about right away, as they traded away their first-round draft pick, which ended up being Frank Nazar, for Alexander Romanov and a fourth-round pick, which, honestly, I don't know about this one, Chief. I like Romanov. I think it's a good pickup here for the New York Islanders. It's not a bad pickup. He's been pretty good. He didn't do that bad. Good two-way guy. Plays pretty good offensively. And for me, it's not a bad pickup, because if the Islanders are really trying to stay competitive, then it's not a bad move. But also, it's like, why? Like, you're not a good team. You just had, for the very first time in a while, where you actually had a pretty good first-round pick, where you could have picked up a pretty good prospect and, started maybe building up this prospect system a little bit more. But no, they decided to trade away for Romanov. And Romanov's okay, but I don't know if he's going to be fantastic. So I think it's an all right move picking up a defenseman, because, there wasn't a whole lot of defensemen that was available. Plus, you got him at 2.5, so it's not a bad deal. But in the end, are the Islanders really needing to do this move when, they're really not looking competitive right now, right? They're not a good-looking team right now. And if they're imagining that without Barry Trotz, they're going to be a good team with Lane Lambert, I don't know about that one, man. I'm a little skeptical on that. We'll move into the draft, and their draft was pretty not great. Kale Ulis, Quinn Finley, and Isaiah George could have some chances to play some hockey, but, they are, big what-ifs. Quinn Finley doesn't look too bad. He's a pretty speedy winger. And then you got the two defensemen, in Ulias and George. They don't look too bad. Good, defenders. Kel Ulis is a great puck-moving defenseman as well. Played in the Olinka Gretzky Cup last year. He's already playing some hockey this year as well. But not amazing picks. Really not amazing draft picks. If you had Frank Nazar, it wouldn't have made it amazing anyways in general, just because they just didn't have that big of a draft. And we'll move into the signings, where Lou Lamoriello really just did not do anything. We were hearing that they were in Nazem Kadri, but they ended up not doing anything. They re-signed Kyle Clutterbuck and Zach Parise to pretty okay deals. Kyle Clutterbuck to a 2-year, $1.75 million deal, and then also getting Parise back for $750 just to build up the depth. But most likely he'll be playing up in the top 6 again this year, where Zach Parise was playing alongside of Matthew Barzal. And man, Barzal must be suffering down there. Like, I just don't imagine seeing Barzal returning next year. That's just the honest truth. Right now, I don't feel like this team is going down the right hill. Romanov, I do like the Romanov contract. 3 years at 2.5 is a pretty good deal, and same with the Noah Dobson move. 3 years at $4 million is a pretty good move for these guys, short-term deals. They're probably going to be asking for big bucks, especially Dobson, if he continues to develop quite well. He had a pretty good season. Production-wise was all right, two-way-wise, 5-on-5-wise, but there's still lots to improve there with Noah Dobson this upcoming season. So with looking at the Islanders, and I know that was really quick. That's all the moves that they just did, and we probably went over that in 4 to 5 minutes. But that's all the moves that the Islanders did this past offseason. That's all they did. So I'm really, really skeptical about this team this upcoming season, and I'm not going to give them a big grade either because all they really did was trade away their first round pick to pick up a, kind of a struggling defenseman in Romanov who might be at best a top four defender, which, yeah, maybe Frank Nazar would have been at best maybe a top six guy. But, with the way that this team is going down, it's probably best to start building up your cabinets again. It really is. Like, you have a ton of players that you're paying big bucks that are not performing to the big bucks. Palmieri, Josh Bailey, who else? Andres Lee. He's definitely not worth that $7 million bucks, right? Pajot, yeah, he's been playing really good, probably near that $5 million range, but definitely you don't want to be paying him that, right? There's a lot of players that are being paid a lot of money that really don't deserve that type of money, and you're kind of in a situation right now where I just don't believe this team is going to be a playoff team in this upcoming season. So trying to stay competitive is just not ideal. I mean, maybe Romanov and Dobson won't do too bad, but man, I don't know, man. I don't know about this one, Chief. So what's my grade on them this upcoming season? They didn't make a whole lot of bad moves. That's the thing. They didn't make a whole lot of bad moves, but they didn't make any moves at all. The only moves that they really did was pick up Romanov. And that was the only move that they did to improve this team compared to what they did last year. They didn't do anything. So I'm just going to give this team a C. I like the Romanov move. I like the Dobson signings. I like those, but they just didn't do anything at all that really could boost my grade up. Quite honestly, they needed to do a lot more to improve themselves defensively. Lane Lambert, I don't know if he's going to be the guy to replace Barry Trotz. He could be. But I really just don't see this team having a good year next year. And it's going to be a big year because Barzal is a free agent. He's going to be an RFA, so they still have control over him. But is he going to really want to come back to the Islanders next year as well and deal with a team that's just not giving them players to play alongside of with? So a lot of big questions going into the next season for the New York Islanders. I know this was a quick one. Tell me, guys, in the comment section below what you guys thought of the New York Islanders offseason. I'm giving them a big fat C. Almost could have been a C minus, but I'm going to be nice and give them a C because of the Romanov deal. But for now, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, amigos.